Thing stuck in my throat, dude. I was on the phone with Nisert earlier and like couldn't stop coughing because it felt like there was
that's the worst.
something, and I didn't have a drink nearby to get it. But I got this ginger beer here now, and there ain't nothing surviving old Reeds.
Old Reeds.
Boy, I love ginger beer.
Does that have actual alcohol in it?
No, it's like
so.
It's like ginger ale on freaking steroids.
Yeah, it's
like,
usually used as like a mixer. Like people make Moscow mules out of them and stuff.
We make a lot of like tequila mules with it, but we're out of tequila, and we had one of these left, so I was like, I'm drinking it.
I fucking hate tequila, man. Ugh.
I don't know that I've ever had it straight. I don't know.
It's not good.
I think I'd mind it. I'm sure it's better than gin, but everything's better than gin, so...
I'd probably drink straight gin before I drink straight tequila.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is, but that shit just hits me different.
Yeah.
But we're back for THP finally.
I know, dude. It's been hectic. Schedules have been just crazy. My schedule's been crazy. Everyone else's schedule's been pretty wild. So it's been the rotation of Flippin' Tin and Iraq Nerds and THP has not worked out the way I think we initially planned.
Well, I thought it worked. I thought it's worked out pretty well. It's just been THP. It seems like the Thursday, because the way it usually works would be THP or Flippin' Tin and Iraq Nerds one week, then THP the next week, and if somebody else wants to record, then so
right.
But it seems like every time we go to do THP, you've usually got something going on. Yeah. So, and then I was on vacation last week. You were on vacation last week. So,
and I didn't even know you were going down to Florida. I had no idea. You were like, I just got back. And I was like, when did you leave?
From what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in West Palm Beach from Wednesday to Saturday.
Did you go down with family?
It was me and Kayla.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was her birthday, so we went down there for.
Cool.
She was actually she lived there when she was a little kid for several years, so went down and saw some areas that she lived in. So it was cool. Yeah, it was nice.
I got family down there somewhere.
West Palm?
Yeah. Aunt and uncle and one of two cousins.
I thought West Palm was busy until I went to downtown Miami during rush hour. Never again.
They're in Loxahatchee, which is not like West Palm proper,
but it's still in the general area.
Might as well be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like here. Like, are you in Hilton Head? Yes.
No. Yeah.
More or less. Yeah. Why not?
No, I don't accept Hilton Head. I don't.
Only the people that live on Hilton Head accept Hilton Head, buddy.
No, I hate that place.
I never know what angle to make this thing work. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's episode 221 of THP, brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. You need racks, you need cages. You hate racks, but you love cages. You love cages, but you hate racks. There's something for everyone. All shapes and sizes. All kinds of configurations, modularity with some of the racks where you can upgrade the tubs as your snakes grow instead of having to upgrade the rack as your snakes grow, which I find very handy. So please check them out. Use the code THN25 at checkout. Get a little bit of a discount. And you save even more by picking the pickup option at checkout. And then you can save on shipping and freight or whichever they end up having to do depending on what you order. And you get to go check out the operation and meet the gang. So if you're anywhere near, I guess, would they be considered like North Georgia? They're not like north.
It's more like central, I guess. I don't know.
North central.
Yeah.
Ish.
They're
near Atlanta, not far from Atlanta. The outskirts of Atlanta and that whole region. Hit up Jen and them. Message BlackBox if you have any questions. And get yourself something nice.
Yeah, if you can drive, it's certainly worth it. Especially, it's also really cool just to see the operation because they'll usually have you come around back and you'll help them load up your stuff, and it's a cool operation to
They're
see
not
all the
rocking
machines.
it's not some dudes with some table saws in a warehouse.
No, it is not.
It's it's something to be seen. It's pretty wild to watch the
Yeah.
the CNCs do their thing, and the whole processing from the cutting to the assembly to packaging, like the whole thing. It's just cool to see how that side of the business works, because
Yeah.
it's not something you really get to see a whole lot. And I think a lot of people think that it is just some PVC sheets and table saws and some hammers and nails and screws and stuff. And it's not. With BlackBox. They really are on the cutting edge, pun
Yeah,
intended.
dude. My freaking ADD goes crazy watching that machine. I just get
I know you could just sit there and watch it for hours, man.
It's so cool, man. Just like it's got its own little brain, and it's freaking awesome.
It's how it is with the laser, dude. I'm doing the laser. I'm not supposed to stare at it, but I can't help it. It came with safety glasses. My old one did. This one has a hood, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But like before, it was like I just stare at it.
I'm just thinking of The Bug's Life. I can't help it. It's so beautiful.
It's exactly what it is. It's terrible for your eyes. Like, you're not supposed to stare at it, but I'm like, I got to.
Thank God you're not a welder. You'd be blind.
Oh yeah, that'd be a problem.
Dude, your camera is like real crisp today.
I don't. It's that Razor, and I'm also using the new MacBook too. That's got a better.
Oh, you got a new MacBook?
I did for Christmas.
Nice.
I
can see the pores on your cheeks.
I had been using the same MacBook Air for 8 years, something like that, a while. And it was with all the Adobe stuff and everything else that I got going on. I was like, told Katie, I was like, for Christmas, my only wish is for a computer that just has more power. I can do more. So here we are. And then I can still use my old one for the laser stuff. And like, it's nice because I kept the old one and I still use that for like my printing for shipping labels and things like that. So either way.
Yeah.
Steve Snaketuary. Check it out. Help Steve out. Check out the whole lineup of the Venom hot sauces. What is it? Cottonmouth, Pygmy, Canebrake, Copperhead, Coral Snake. There's a whole lineup. I think there's one that's Anti-Venom.
Anti-Venom, yeah.
Yeah. We are Team Cottonmouth sauce. It's really good. You will like it. You get the whole set. You buy one of the flavors. You buy all of them. You're helping Steve no matter what. He's doing a lot of public education, does a ton of relocations, rehabilitations. Seems like he's been pretty busy taking in a lot of unwanted stuff too. I've seen a handful of monitors the last couple of weeks, some boas and some other things. And so he's taking those in, getting them on the up and up. And if they're not something that he uses for education, he finds a proper home for them, and he's doing good work. He's staying busy too, especially this time of year, man. It's I don't know about you, but it's been absolutely gangbusters here with the herping.
Yeah, the last week kind of sucked. I wanted to do more since Jack was down here. It really got me jazzed up to do more, but man, we got another cold snap, so it's been kind of shitty.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I was like, this is some shit.
Yeah,
it's 53. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it sucked. I was mad.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting, man, because I'm going to be road cruise. I'm going to be a road cruising fool here soon. Like, can't wait.
You know what helps you though? What has good luck is that Masticofa shirt from Fulvius Apparel.
Where's mine?
I forgot about it. I got to make it. It's festival season at work, dude. So like everything's been taking a freaking backseat. It's been brutal. I just came back from vacation and I was like expecting sort of like a level 10 shit show upon my return. And it was like a light to decent 6. So could have been worse, could have been better. But yeah, Fulvius stuff. I came back. Fortunately, I didn't have a ton of orders while I was gone. So got those knocked out and out into the mail and everything. But shop around, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, mugs, all kinds of stuff. Use the code THN at checkout, get 15% off your order. It's exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you.
It's not even posted.
It's not. I mean, it's posted in like the descriptions and stuff of these, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like open access.
No.
I gotta get back on the wagon as far as getting some new designs done and up. And it's been a while since I've had anything new added. I've been just so ridiculously busy. But by the time I get home, usually my mental capacity for giving anything that real estate mentally is it's usually not there. So
Yeah.
but
Feel
either way, things I think we're finally like festival season will be over here soon because for whatever reason where we live they like to have a handful of festivals all in like the same month
time.
Yeah, and so it makes work very, very hectic. And after things calm down a bit, finally, hopefully after this week, things will kind of start going back to normal, get back into the groove of the usual shirt stuff. So we'll be on the lookout.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah.
What's been going on?
Oh man, busy. I'm kind of behind the ball on pairing stuff up. I gotta get some stuff together. I've paired up the Deckerts, both pairs. I paired up my Jani for like a week. Haven't put those back together yet. And then I had some other stuff paired up for like a week, but then I was like, I think I'm gonna wait. So we'll see if that week did anything. But yeah, I decided to pull them out. Still need to pair up the Clayburg Bulls. This year I'm hoping for 2 clutches of Deckerts, Clayburg Bulls, and Jani. I think those are going to be the 4 main focus. Again, I paired up Black Rats and Hernando County Yellows for like a second. And so we'll see if anything took, but I'm not expecting anything from that. Got a surprise clutch from the Gulf Hammocks that now reside at Preston's. There was 5 eggs, but it looks like 2 are going bad. So we'll see. But the other 3 look solid still. So we'll see if those go the distance. That was a very big surprise to me. So that was cool. Kind of what happens when you cohab snakes. But it was kind of weird. I kind of put it in perspective of how small these things could actually breed. Because I had no intentions of breeding them. Like for me, it was going to be like 2 years. I'll pair them up. Was not expecting anything this year. So that was kind of wild. But
yeah, you'd be amazed, dude. I had some corn snakes, like maybe mid 2000s, and they were maybe a little bit bigger than yearling size, and I was cohabbing them, and I had the female in that group dropped to clutch of like 3 eggs, and one of them went the distance. It was good.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's surprisingly young. They can.
Yeah, and it's not something I'm going to try for.
Right.
Like now that Preston Converse came down and took quite a few animals from me, so it opened up some space to where I'm not going to have to cohab anymore. I just don't like cohabbing for that reason and feeding, and I know it's fine. I'm not talking bad about it. It's just a personal choice that I don't enjoy doing. So I need to clean out a bunch of tubs and get everything separated so I don't have this problem again. But yeah, so that's kind of how my season's going. I'm still kind of kicking everything off. I think everything's only 3 or 4 meals deep now since cooling, so it's about time to start putting everybody together. I think I am most excited for the Clayburg Bulls, though. Jan and I will be incredible if I can get those to go. But man,
you haven't paired the Clayburg yet?
No, not yet. I thought they were kind of in shed, so I was holding out a little bit. But I think they just look a little dark from cooling. So I'm going to pair those up very, very soon. So it's so funny, man. Like,
did you pair those here?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No. It's so funny. Like when you have quite a few snakes, you know, exactly pull them all out all the time and really, stretch them out, see how big they've gotten. I pulled out the Clayburgs while Jack was here. I pulled the female out, and I was like, "Holy shit,
It's a completely different animal.
she's huge!" Like, it's like, you see him I see him all the time, cleaning waters and feeding, but when you really take him out and stretch him, you're
Dude,
like,
that's how
"Holy
it is with the
shit!"
chondros. Like you don't pull them
Yeah.
off the perch for a while, and then you do, and you're like, you don't think
Jesus.
they've really grown, but then you pull off the perch, and you're like, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
ridiculously long.
Yeah, that's how it was with those, man. She's big, dude. She's probably pushing 5 foot. Like she's
Yeah, I
like,
don't think I saw those when I was over there the weekend
no.
before last.
We had limited time. We hit it hard, man.
Good.
We were road cruising until what, 10:30 that night?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe closer to 11.
Yeah, those are always long days, man.
Yeah, especially when you were herping all day.
It's good. I go home and I sleep really well those nights because that's always the case. Like that post herping shower, man. Like you've been freaking hiking all day long, road cruising for the better part of the evening, then you get home.
Dude, I almost hate it because I just want to go to bed. I don't even want to shower, but I have to.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
but
I am incapable. Like I physically cannot go to bed without showering.
If I'm camping, I can.
That's like camping's different, but like at home, I don't care how tired I am. I'm not skipping a shower. I can't. I cannot. I am too. I don't know what it is. I just getting in bed and not being showered to me is just like a war crime. It's weird to me.
See, it's weird for me because I shower in the morning for work almost every day. And, I don't do anything super strenuous usually. So I don't shower before bed. So I'm used to just showering in the morning and not before bed. So when I have to shower before bed, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
But anyways, what's new with you?
Not a ton. So I have the two pairs of rhinos together. I haven't seen any signs of anything happening. I'm starting to wonder if I'm going to even get anything this year. Which, I mean, if I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal. I'm thinking I kept my heater on in my room this winter, so things did not get as cold as they did before, like previous years. And I kept it a little warmer because of the spiders and stuff. And I'm thinking that doing that, they didn't get sort of the typical cool down that they've gotten previously, even if it was fairly minor. And I'm thinking that's had something to do with the lack of any signs of action with those.
Yeah.
The promo code for Fulvius is THN, and the promo code for BlackBox is THN25.
So it is 25, not 24.
THN25. That's right. I put two of these corns together that I caught, the three that I have that I came across recently. I put one of them that I suspected was a male and one that I suspected was a female because I have not probed them yet together. And I don't know. I'm actually the one that I think is the female. That's actually the beefier one that came from down the street. I'm like feeling about 50-50 that she's actually gravid already. We'll see. She feels it kind of. I've been leaving them alone. They all just shed recently. I need to get some meals in them, but I have updated pictures of those from the sheds.
Let me get one.
I got to figure out what they are first.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Sucker.
Here,
share the.
Dude, it's so easy to probe them. Just fucking.
I know. It's just been a time thing because I'm like,
Dude, ever since I learned how to like probe properly, I'm real quick to do that. That thing's freaking baller, dude.
That's the one that I believe is a female, and that's the one that I believe might be gravid. Like if she is, it's in the early stages.
She looked a little thick down there at the end.
A little bit. It's just not as noticeable in this picture. Again, if it is a female, which I'm feeling pretty confident that it is. I think from the group I have, I think it's 1.2. But yeah, that's the bigger one after the shed. That's the one that came from my neighbor's house a couple doors down.
Do you still have the original wild caught animals?
Yeah.
Nice.
I do. This is that same girl. These ones have been interesting. Like this one in particular, she doesn't posture up. She hides her head a lot.
How big is that one?
Probably closing in on
Like 3 foot.
maybe. I don't want to say 3 feet, but I mean, if I was gonna rounding up to like the closest, yeah, probably 3, but
Yeah,
maybe just shy. But for a ladies' island, that is the biggest ladies' island that I've seen so far.
nice.
So she's a beast, and that's her again too. Her, him, it. And then this is the male, suspected male. And that one, dude, when I got it, it was in shed, like deep in shed, did not look that great, was a little beat up. And then he shed, and I was not expecting these the thick black borders on this, because that is not something I've really seen on the Ladies Island stuff either. Just red. Like this guy is very reminiscent of some of the stuff I've seen from like the Spring Island stock.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just absolutely killer, and I got another one of him too.
A lot of black borders on them.
Yeah, and they're really, really thick. Again, like you saw with that female, like this is much more typical of what I've seen with Ladies Island animals.
Yeah.
The borders aren't really anything noticeable or anything really enunciated. But this guy, just absolutely nuts. And he had a piece of stuck shed on his tail, and so of course I was like, well, let me get that off. Ended up taking some actual skin with it, which it looked like he had some previous shed stuck there already.
It had to have been.
It was already on its way out.
I've never seen that before. When you said that in the chat the other day, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I felt bad because it bled a little bit, and I got a paper towel and got as much of it as I could, but seems fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
But that's he's a freaking gorgeous animal, dude.
Yeah.
I just got to probe it, but I was not expecting this animal when I found it and it was in shed. I was like, oh, that'll be a nice little, another Ladies Island to add to the group. And then I came back from vacation and he had shed, and then the female I just showed had shed, and I was like, sweet Jesus. I mean, it just doesn't get a whole lot better than that, boy. South Carolina corns is where it's at.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to finding a female for my Colleton, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope we do come across more out there. But just darkness. I also like using Google Drive for this more than Facebook Messenger, because you can zoom in without.
Yeah.
And then went and flipped today, went and picked up my kid. I was like, let's go flip some tin at Papo and Yaya's. My parents'
little half stripe, quarter stripe going on there.
Yeah, and that was an adult. I know it looked like a female, for the love of God. Okay, Jesus.
You could just like not
speculate,
just not say anything.
This looked like it was in shed too, really feisty. It reminded me that copperheads don't ride hooks for shit. I don't know why I keep forgetting that or thinking that they're somehow going to cooperate, because they don't. So I took this to the lot next door to my parents' property and released it, because my parents have some cats. I don't want the cats to get hurt. I don't want the snake to get hurt. It just makes it easier on everybody. But
for sure,
found that, and then a little 2-foot-ish racer.
But you don't have a picture of the racer.
I don't. But I mean, I tried to corral it. It was fighting me. So, but that's always a cool little find. I do love copperheads, man. Like anytime we go cruising on our road there, anytime those little babies are always fun to stop and look at, and they don't get old.
I stop for all of them, man. I love I mostly stop just because I like to photograph the variation of all of them. Like none of them are the same.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like they all have their own little unique things. Yeah, like those dots. Yeah, exactly.
Each one's different, like a snowflake.
Yeah, I wish they were as gentle as a snowflake. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, this one was fired up. As soon as it sort of woke up and realized that I was there and was touching it with the hook, it started just darting, striking, and
it's so funny. Like you talk to like non-snake people, and obviously non-snake people probably don't know a copperhead from a cottonmouth most of the time. But cottonmouths have this horrible rap of being these horrible snakes, and I'm like, dude, copperheads are 10 times worse than any cottonmouth I've messed with normally. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, as far as like the twitchiness and the doing the herky jerky and all that kind of
and
shit.
They jump. They'll like levitate off the ground.
This one was giving it its all. But I put it in a bucket and carried it over, and then like by the time we got to where I was letting it go, like it had completely chilled out and wasn't doing any of that anymore. So it was odd.
Yeah, they're weird snakes. They're fun snakes though.
But I did just come back from vacation. First of all, this is not vacation related, but
the beautiful sandhills.
This is like become my mental like happy place when I'm stressed. I'm like, I'm in the sandhills watching Jack wander.
Now every time I think of the sandhills, I just see a coach whip running away.
Yeah. I loved it out there, man.
Yeah.
That particular area, just unbelievable, just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was so funny. Like all three of us, as soon as we saw this area, because this was kind of a new spot this was a new spot for all of us. It was the first time out there. And all three of us saw that spot and we're like, yep, that's where we're heading.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I like this because it's like thick enough for stuff to be hanging out and has enough coverage for stuff to feel secure to where it's like out and about moving. But it's not so thick that you can't get through it and you can't see your feet. Like underneath all of this, it's fairly open, you know?
Yeah, that picture makes it look a lot thicker than it is. Like it's fairly spread out and it's very easy to walk and actually see where you're stepping because man, I don't like areas I can't see where I'm stepping to because you step on a diamondback, you'll have a bad day.
But it was like the perfect amount of both of cover, but also not being just completely unwalkable, you know.
And it paid off, man. We got to see our lifer coach whip.
Some of us got our hands on the lifer coach whip. Some of us did not.
Some of us didn't have a chance, and the other two dropped it. So there's that. But we won't talk about that.
That thing, I wish we had gotten pictures of it somehow or another, dude.
It would have been so hard to take a picture of that thing the way it was sitting.
Yeah.
Still, I don't even know how Jack saw it, man. Like greatest spot I've ever witnessed.
For sure. I don't know if there's any of that like examples of sort of what we were looking at, like where we found it in this picture. There's not, but basically imagine like this sort of bush kind of deal.
Being a lot bushier.
With like three others around it, all greened out, but at the base of a pine. Jack somehow spotted a coach whip that was easily somewhere between 5 and 6 feet long, because it slithered right by me in like a completely straight line, so I could see just the sheer length of it. Coiled up just at the base of one of those bush oasis sort of deals.
A bushel thistle.
bushel thistle.
as Sky would call it.
And we planned our mode of attack. Jack was gonna grab it. Jake was on sort of the other side between a burrow, like a tortoise burrow, because there's a lot of gopher tortoises out there, and where that snake was sitting. And then I was on sort of the other side of Jack, to where if it took off, it would be heading towards me, in theory, which it actually did. Jack got his hands on it briefly. He grabbed I think some sticks or something with it and let it go. As soon as he let it go, it was gone. And then it slithered, came right in front of me. I got a little bit of the tail, and I don't know what happened. It jerked a little bit, like it was trying to put the afterburners on, and I let it go, or couldn't get a decent hand on it. I don't know exactly what happened. It happened so fast.
I blacked out. I don't know.
And then see what's wild though is it was in front of me, right? And it was a big snake. It's not a small coach whip. It's not like a standard racer.
It was a big coach
that's
whip.
3 or 4 times the size of a regular racer, huge. And it just disappeared. It straight up vanished. I saw it go in a clump of spinifex, and then it was gone.
That's why when you and Jack were like, "Where is it? Where is it?" I was like, "Don't even waste your time, boys."
I looked around because I was like, surely a snake that big couldn't just. I'm not even exaggerating when I say vanish in thin air, just gone.
They're so fast, dude.
The Houdini-ness of it is just mind-blowing, that it was you would think I could have seen the tail going in some direction as it's getting away from me, but it didn't. It hit this patch of grass, and I didn't see it like a burrow or anything that it could have just disappeared into. It was gone. I've never seen anything like it. It was wild.
That whole thing was so funny because it wasn't funny at all. Actually, I was very upset. But I put myself where I thought it was going to go, because I wanted to be back up for Jack. So I put myself in front of that burrow because I thought it was going to dart.
That's where I think we all was expecting it to.
That's why I was like, all right, I'm going to be right in front of this burrow. But I think the issue was it was looking right at me, and there's such visually they're just very, very visual snakes. So I think he was looking right at me, and he was like, "Fuck that! There's a monkey there. I'm going the other way." And I never even had a chance at it. Dude, I'm so mad.
It could have gone
one
of 3 ways. It could have gone towards you, it could have gone towards me, or it could have gone just the complete opposite direction where none of us were. And who knows? But the fact that Jack even saw it, the fact that we even saw
incredible.
Is awesome, because I've never seen a coach whip in the wild like that.
No, none of us had. And the thing, what made it so impressive is, number one, this coach whip blended in so well, but all Jack saw was a piece of the side of its body,
the tan end,
underneath this bushel thistle, and coiled up perfectly. And he was yelling at me saying it was a coach whip. So I ran over there and I was like, "Where is it?" He just points, and I saw it immediately, but only because he pointed it out. I don't think I would have ever seen that snake. It was one of those things that you just had to have the luck of the draw and look directly at it and notice a pattern. It was incredible that he saw it at all. And we all got a good look at it. So we were all able to, cross it off the lifer list. Mm-hmm. And I got a really good look at it from the side, because like I said, its head was looking right at me, dude. I was staring this thing and I could see those big old eyes and that jet black head. I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm shaking. Somebody better grab this fucking snake or I'm going to die. And sure enough, it got away.
In seeing it in the context of
nightmare
of that habitat too, the coloration and stuff makes complete sense.
100%.
Especially 100%. When we're talking about burrows and stuff, where it's you get the contrast of the shadows of the burrows, but mm-hmm. the light and the sun and the sand, just totally adds up.
Yeah, I mean, even not even in burrows, just in shadows in general. You think part of its body in the sand, the other part in the shadows, tan and black, man. Yeah, Sky,
with
we
Eastern
were just
Diamondbacks.
talking about you in the bushel thistle, so that's what we call it now.
Yeah, Diamondbacks, same thing, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I when we're out in places like that, I am always wondering like how many Eastern Diamondbacks are we walking by right now?
I really thought we were going to see one that
I
day.
was
I'm
feeling
not going to lie.
pretty confident that we would too.
I was expecting a Diamondback before a whip or a pine.
I wasn't expecting a coach whip at all.
I was expecting a coach whip more than a pine, but I mean, dude, me and Jack ended up going back out there that same day because I put a mark on that tree and I was like, he might be back or he or she might be back. And we went back there at that exact spot and wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, but I've got it marked and I'm going back.
Yeah. And in that same area, we found a drift fence, but it wasn't a drift fence that had like the pits where
it wasn't like a trap.
Put a bucket in there. No, it was what's the best way to describe it?
It was like almost like a through box,
almost like a toll road type setup. So they had the typical fence, right, and where it's just a sheeting, like metal sheeting, but then on each end they had a 5-gallon bucket flipped upside down, but it had holes cut on the bottom, so where the metal sheeting is right here and the bucket's right here, stuff could pass through, follow that drift fence, pass through the other end that also had the same thing, the 5-gallon bucket, but they had game cameras inside, like mounted on some plexiglass.
Yeah, pointing
and I'm
down.
assuming they did that so that they could just keep track of what's coming and going in that area, like following that drift fence. I had never seen one like that, so I thought it was really cool because at first I was like, what is on the top? Like, what's the point of this? And then I looked and saw, and I was like, oh, those are game cameras.
Yeah, it was cool. Genius. It was a cool thing because, like, I don't think that area, snakes aren't their main priority, but it's definitely managed for all those, threatened species. And so I don't think they have people that could check traps every day like you have to whenever you have traps out. So it's
right.
It's good to have, just pictures of stuff you can see.
Well, I got real excited at first because I saw that metal sheeting and I was like, oh, mother load, jackpot. But I was like, wait, there's no holes. And then I was like, okay, this is like a passive.
Yeah, it's like a pass through. So, it was cool, but man, that area is beautiful. I cannot wait to go back out.
I just enjoyed hanging out. Like, even if we didn't see the coach whip or anything like this, it's just cool to like walk around, and it's just gorgeous.
It's incredible habitat, man. It's like our own little slice of Florida out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's incredible. Really glad we went out there, and yeah,
it's a good spot. I really like that WMA.
Yeah,
and I will say too, it being a WMA, so now that we're sort of in the loop and stuff, as far as hooks and when not to use them and when to have them, and not that we got tickets, but understanding how much tickets are if you get found with a hook in WMAs, and like how it doesn't matter if you're taking stuff or not. If game wardens see you with hooks in a WMA, they're going to automatically assume that you're doing something you're not supposed to. And I'm sure you can tell them up and down all day long, like, we're not taking anything, whatever. I'm sure they've heard that a million times. Herping without a hook was weird.
It's very weird.
Is very awkward feeling for the first
like I don't know what to do with my hands.
Exactly. But I will say, as the day went on, I actually didn't mind it.
I kind of liked it, like, especially in an area like that. Like, I'm less focused on, finding everything I can to flip versus like actually just like paying attention to the the bushes and the
Mm-hmm.
other things out basking, and I really didn't mind it much at all. Like,
I got a little nervous flipping like pine bark on the ground and stuff because I was like, dude, I'm totally gonna get nailed by a
I
pig.
didn't do a lot of that. I only flipped stuff that I could grab from the top and like kind of roll over. I never put my fingers under anything.
I would grab a small stick and I'd kind of use that to flip stuff. But then I
Yeah,
was like, I started flipping stuff with my hands. I'm like, this is just
yeah,
makes me, it's a bit sketchy.
yeah. That's not my. I definitely don't recommend sticking your fingers under anything. That is asking for a bad day, especially in Diamondback country.
Yeah.
Because little all it needs is a little neonate Diamondback to be under a piece of bark, and you got a bad day ahead of you.
But other than that, so I went on vacation with the Bahamas. Second time I've been to the Bahamas. We were on Grand Bahama this time. First time I went was when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 or something. We went to Nassau, which is a different island. We didn't sign up for any of the excursions because it was a cruise, right? Usually, like you book a cruise, they have different excursions you can do when you're in port to wherever you're going. You know, you can go snorkeling, you can go tour cities, whatever, all that good stuff. We didn't do any of that. I ended up doing some INAT research before we went on the trip because I was like, if I'm going to find a place where I can herp a little bit, like I'm going to do it. And found this national park, which was about a 30-minute drive from port. It is not an excursion that the cruise offers, so we did this like of our own volition. We got taxied out there. It's not a big national park, it's small. So the island of Grand Bahama is about 96 miles long and about 17 miles wide. And this national park was, when you come into Freeport, if you're looking at the Bahamas, Freeport's on like the left side of the island, and then Lucayan is in the middle. So like just as you get sort of into the right portion of the island. This is a really cool little spot. So I took some pictures just of the terrain and stuff to kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like. It's very, very similar to Florida, like South Florida, most of Florida, actually, I will say, in terms of flora, things like that. This was sort of the first trail you walk into as you get into the park. And then there's some cave systems and stuff that you can go on these little boardwalks. I was looking for whip scorpions, hoping maybe I could find one. I think this is something you'd have to be in here at nighttime to really find any. But that was a really cool cave. You couldn't go swimming or anything in there, which didn't really bother me. Another trail, super thick vegetation on the side. So like Bahamas don't have a ton of snake species to begin with. I was mostly banking on seeing like a Bohemian racer or something. I'm still trying to figure out if Bohemian boas, the Chilobothrus, are even native on Grand Bahama. I took my Boas of the West Indies book with me on the boat and was reading that a little bit after we got back from this trip, just to see if there had been any sightings on INAT or anything like that, and I didn't really see any. So I think finding a Bohemian boa was kind of a tall order, but I was hoping to at least see some sort of scorpions or racers or something. This is another cave, had a really cool tree growing out of it. A lot of bats and stuff. Apparently, I didn't see any of those, but they were probably tucked away further where it's darker. Different angle, but same cave. We saw that. So when you're looking at this sign, this side is where we were, with that has the caves and stuff, and the other side there's a beach, probably 100 200 yards after you've crossed this main road here. And it's actually one of the nicest beaches I've probably ever been to, and there was really nobody on it. But it takes you through this boardwalk through these mangroves, and it was pretty cool to see all that. And like I never realized how much the mangrove roots and stuff look like cable. Like they're so smooth and stuff. It looks almost like electrical wiring going through the ground and stuff. But I took that for Phil because you know how Phil's all about some mangrove. When we got back to the car, I was looking around, saw some nice curly tails, and then I saw this Auber's Amoeba, which it doesn't look very big, but that sucker was probably 8 or 9 inches, maybe a little longer. Like, it's a decent sized lizard.
God damn.
I managed to get fairly close to it, and then it was like, "Nah, kid," and walked off. But gorgeous lizard.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It was just chilling there. Like I happened to like look over after I bought a $6 Gatorade from the lady with her little table of wares, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Look at that shit." And I knew they had amoebas, I just didn't know what species, and so I looked this up after the fact, and I believe it's an Auber's. Just gorgeous. I mean, seeing those blues. Anytime you get to see a blue like that in the wild on anything, it's like it's a treat. So
it's a nice powder blue kind of.
Yeah. So homeboy was chilling.
Look at the toes on that sucker. Zoom in again.
Yeah.
Friggin' toes on that thing.
Like yours, dude. Those look familiar. I knew they looked familiar. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Couldn't put my toe on it.
Couldn't put my toe on
it. But something interesting too on the car ride there. I took these actually for you and Sky because I was thinking about it while we were driving, like talking about herping and stuff all the time and like flipping tin. So our taxi driver was telling us like the island with Hurricane Darian that happened, was that last year before last? Darian did a serious number on like the entire island, and then they had some bushfires. So like the entire ride from Freeport to the national park looked like this. It's just like an island of sticks. It's weird. Like these are all pine trees, like, or what were pine trees. And so it's just miles and miles of just this.
Pines, really?
Yeah. So they've got some pine forests and stuff, or they did at least. So yeah, I mean, this is what it looked like the entire trip.
Holy shit!
Very strange. Like,
yeah, that's almost eerie, dude. Like,
and I was like, this is an island of sticks, because that's all I could think of is like these are just these weird, straight, no vegetation, just trunks.
It's made me imagine walking through that at night.
Dude, we were walking by. There was some real estate. We were driving by. I was like, I need to get our driver to stop the car because we gotta go look around. But I didn't. So Bahamas is cool. I think if you plan a trip that's not attached to a cruise, Dave Kaufman, I think, actually just released a video within the last couple weeks where him and Quetzal Dwyer went to the Bahamas and did some herping. I don't think it was Grand Bahama. It might have been Nassau. I forget. So we went to Grand Bahama, and then we went to Coco Cay, which is like Royal Caribbean's private island they have that has like water parks and stuff, and actually has some iguanas. And so we were swimming in this giant pool that had about 1 million people in it. And it has these little islands of like planted garden, like trees and stuff, sort of just scattered throughout. I saw 2 iguanas in one of those. One of them was small, and one of them was a probably 3-foot small male, it looked like.
I saw 2 iguanas in Miami last week.
I tried to get my hands on them. They were kind of quick, and then I was
like,
lifeguards. There's like 1 million lifeguards there too, and I'm like, these dudes are going to freaking yell at me as soon as I grab this. So those were cool to see, because I don't think I've seen iguanas in the wild, quote unquote. But it was a cool trip. So little miniature herping excursion. Didn't get skunked because I saw the amoeba. And the curly tails, dude. I forgot how like chunky curly tails are.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, that was the first herp I saw with Sky when we went to South Florida last year. And I was like, holy shit, those things are big. Like,
They look like they'd be fun to keep because there were some of them like they weren't like they wouldn't let you get super close to them, but you could walk up to them and get within 3 feet of them, and they'd be like,
they're fast as shit, dude.
They are. And then actually, there's a sighting on INAT for, I think, Freeport, like the Bahamas, where they're like, it's a scorpion sighting, and it's clearly just a curly tail in like a little shadowy spot, but all you can see is the tail. So they labeled it as a scorpion. I'm like, it's
love that.
No one bothered to correct it. I was like, okay, well,
yeah, right,
whatever. But that'd be a cool spot to go to, especially if you can go to wherever the Kylobothris are. To be able to find some of those in the wild would be really cool. And I need to read that book because flipping through it again, I was like, Rob Stone sent me a copy for, I think, Christmas or something. And it's awesome. Like, and I also thought for some reason that the whole book was just on Kylobothris, and it's not. It talks about like Boa Sigma and some of the other boa, like constrictor, imperator type clade.
Yeah,
also native. So it's really cool. And the weather was really nice, so it wasn't like ridiculously hot. It wasn't unbearably hot. Like it was comfortable, and it was nice.
Good. Sounds like y'all had a good time.
I was gonna take a headlamp initially because I was like, I'm gonna blacklight for some stuff, and then I was like, we're not gonna be off the boat after dark.
Yeah,
because we had to be on the boat back on the boat by 4:30. And I bought a Cuban as we got off the boat in Freeport. And then I went and smoked it. And then I was like, I need to go grab some more. And it was like 4:00. I was like, it's right there. I'm going to go off the boat. I'm going to grab some more and come right back. And of course, they had closed the gangway. So you couldn't leave the boat. You could only come back on if you were already off it. So I'm going to get more Cubans, and I didn't. Damn it.
Fucked up AA wrong.
But dude, I've been flipping the tin at my parents' place on the reg, and this has been the most fruitful year probably ever in terms of the number of stuff I've seen and just the amount of stuff I've seen as far as like corns, like back to back, handful of racers, copperhead. The last corn that I found, it was under the tin with a racer, like chilling together. And I know you and I were sort of texting about it back and forth a little bit a while ago, but like I firmly believe that sort of the heavy winter we had with the snow and everything really played a factor in why this year's been so productive, at least for me.
We also just had like a long winter. Like, so I think they're a little bit more eager to come out. And it was like it was kind of like it was cold and then it wasn't. There wasn't really kind of a middle period until now.
Right.
So it was hot for a minute there. And I think it's just going to be better in the next week or two. So I'm excited.
Have you been talking to anybody else? Like, has anybody else been having similar results as far as?
Dude, Gabe's killing it right now.
Yeah, he's been sending me some pictures.
Dude, Gabe's finding stuff every day. It's the year of the rough green for him, it seems. He's finding rough greens left and right. Me and Jack had, I guess me, Jack, and you. Me and Jack did one night without you the night before, and I mean, dude, we didn't find a lot of variety, but we found a ton of copperheads. I think we found like 10 copperheads, and they were all big, which is really weird for that road. It's normally like you find 7 or 8 little ones and 1, 2, maybe 3 big ones, but it was the exact opposite. It was the exact opposite with Jack. I think we found 10, and like 7 of them were like adults. Like not gigantic adults, but adults, and then like 2 or
Females.
3 neonates. Yeah, and it was funny. We found some other stuff, but it was all DOR. So we found a couple of DOR animals, but not a single DOR copperhead. Everything we found alive was a copperhead, and we found no dead copperheads. But we found
hilarious because there's so many copperheads on that road.
So many.
I don't think I've seen a DOR one except for you clipped.
Okay. That happened once.
I know. I'm just saying, like you would think with the amount of copperheads that are on that road that we
Yeah.
would see ones that were flattened
Well,
all over the place.
I think the issue is they don't come out. I've never seen a copperhead during the day out there,
Mhm.
but I've seen other stuff before the lights go out. So I think because at night that road is very inactive as far as cars, other than the night
I was gonna say,
me
except for
and Jack were
oh,
out. Good God, I've never seen so many cars out there. I was so happy when they weren't out the next day, but I think that had something to do with it. Some of those DRs had been earlier. I know one of them wasn't because that the road you take to get to my road is a very busy road all the time, but there's all kinds of stuff out there
Mhm.
that I have found. But you find a lot of DORs out there. But on the main road we cruise, it's very not busy once the lights go out, and copperheads just come out
Keep talking. I
like,
gotta pee.
like out the wazoo out there. But we had, like I said, the first night I think we found 10 copperheads, a DOR rat snake, a DOR ribbon, and something else that was dead. I can't remember. And then the second night was Smitty. It was a lot less busy on the main section, on the main stretch of cruising, which was great. And I think we found 5 or 6 copperheads. And then we found 3 rat snakes, a beautiful Decay's brown snake, and a red belly water, the Rhodia Rithrigaster. I think that was all we got. Weirdly, no ribbons. But it was a good night. I did manage to finish my yellow rat project that night. I ended up collecting 2 younger females. So that brings that project up to a trio, which I'm very happy about. And I'm hopeful we can cruise up a corn in the next couple weeks to finish off that project. So Smitty, did I send you the screenshot of where the 2 locations I pulled rat snakes from out there?
No.
I send you that, dude. So the last year I collected the male and I put a pin on it. The second female that I collected, that was a little bit the slightly bigger one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was like if I zoom out, it only shows 1 dot. I have to zoom in all the way, and they're 50 yards from each other, dude.
Mm-hmm. I remember you mentioning like you were looking at it as you were dropping that second pin.
It was on top of the other one, dude. I was like, this is insane. And then the smaller female is still not far at all. So it's a really, really cool, close locality project that I'm super stoked about. And the yellows out there are really pretty. So I'm stoked. Need to get a female corn next, but that'll happen. I'm very confident. I'm going to be hitting it hard. Dude, it's so weird. I don't cruise anywhere else now. I don't really have any other good.
See, and like I like
spots.
that it's nice to have that spot that you know is likely to give you something. But
I
don't know. I still wonder about like that road where we saw those 2 fresh, like that fresh cane and that fresh monster copperhead. Like,
yeah, those you find. I've definitely found plenty of stuff out there. That's just another busier road. Any of the roads out there can provide. It's just a lot of you'll get more traffic on them.
yeah.
It's just not as. That's the thing. It's not as productive, but I'm probably going to see the same shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like the odds of finding the same stuff somewhere else are, the same, but this one's a lot more productive along the way. I've never had a road be as productive as this one. To this day, I've cruised that road so many times last year and I never got skunked. I always found at least a copperhead. Like, it's freaking insane.
Oh, dude, if Phil ever comes up here and he's like, I want to see a copperhead, I'm like, there's only one place we can go. Like
gangbusters.
I bet money that we will see one. Like there's so many of them there.
That is like the one spot I'm like, I can guarantee at
Yeah.
least a copperhead. Like I've never been able to say that about anything at any spot, but this road, I'm like, pretty much any day we can get a copperhead.
Like even that
Especially-
flipping that one today, I'm like, I find copperheads in that 10 spot like maybe a couple times a year, but not all the time. Like if I
Right.
took Phil there, I'd be like, dude, we're totally gonna see. Like that wouldn't be the case. If I was like, we're going to this road, like we're seeing it, it's happening.
No, it's without a doubt. I have seen at least a copperhead. I've seen a copperhead every single time I've been out there. Every single time. At least one.
But it's also interesting because like the last couple times we've gone this year, like it being spring ahead of summer, like there's been a ton of neonates. But then when we go like post summer, it's also a lot of neonates.
Yeah, and I mean that might be the thing. It's like, all the babies from this year's breeding are coming out, like or whatever. I guess they usually aren't that small because baby copperheads are freaking tiny. Like freshly dropped copperheads.
It's interesting that they're all so similar in size.
Yeah.
Like the adults are like all pretty standard, similar size, and then all the small ones are all like the same. There's not a whole lot of in between.
No. I did wish I had found more cane breaks out there. I know they're there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I found that one dump truck adult out there, and then I found a little neonate. But they're out there. So that I'm trying to think of all the species I found out there.
It's a decent list.
It's been copperheads, obviously, yellow rats, corn snakes. Decays are semi-common. I found several decays out there now. Ribbons, garters. I found a dead pine woods out there.
Did you?
Banded waters, red belly waters.
Yeah, Gaster.
Yeah, I just said that one, the red belly. And then I have only found dead rough greens, but I find dead rough greens out there semi-frequently. Never found a live one though. And then cane breaks. So that's 11 species on
a third of the species in the state.
Right? It's nuts, and it makes me think, what else is around there, man? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you went and cruised that road like every night for a month. Like,
right?
How much would you be able to turn up?
And how much would you learn? You know what I mean? Oh, and then me and Preston on the road coming in, we found that black swamp snake. 12. That's not the same road, but it's the road coming in. So
I'm actually probably most jealous of that and the cane because I've never seen a black swamp either.
A black swamp, dude. I almost didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, there's
Picked
weird.
up the thing. I was like, it's jet black. I was like, fucking, what is this? I was like, wait, it's a black swamp, dude. Like, that was really cool. Really,
because that's one of those species that almost no one's gonna know is a thing. At least like most people that like live around here,
right? Yeah,
they're not even gonna know that that's a.
Yeah, they're just gonna think it's a water snake or a cottonmouth.
Let me pull it up here on the SREL website.
Yeah, I got those last year with Gabe to get my lifer, but it was cool finding one out there. But now that I know those are there, I have a feeling mud snakes and crayfish snakes are probably out there too.
Did we get crayfish?
I did last year.
For some reason, I was thinking those were more like an upstate thing. No.
Yeah, no, I got crayfish snakes by Gabe last year. Glossies.
That's not a very good picture that they have, but maybe I'm thinking of queen snakes.
Queen snakes are upstate.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. That's what Rob Christian finds.
Yeah,
regularly, right?
Yeah, Jack has a spot up by him now, and definitely me, possibly Gabe too, are going up there 1st of May to go cross off queen snakes and northern water snakes for the state lists. So that'll be cool. Queens are big, man. I really want to find a queen snake. I love all those shitty aquatic species, man. They're so cool.
Rough, like earth snakes are one that I really haven't seen hardly at all.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of them. I've cruised them before.
In terms of just
Weirdly,
the smaller fossorial stuff, like it's almost always Tantilla, Steraria, or Diodophis.
so it was funny when me and Gabe were going over our species list when him and I first started hanging out. He was talking about the smooth earth snake because those are really rare. And I sent him a picture, and I was like, "What is this one? I think it's a rough." He was like, "Dude, that's a fucking smooth earth snake. I flipped it under some azaleas at a guy's house that I was doing some landscaping for in college. I was pulling up these azaleas, and I have this picture. It's a smooth earth snake. I didn't even know it at the time. I thought it was a rough earth, but yeah, those are cool, man. I found both, but yeah, not a lot.
Wish I could. Be cool to keep Tantilla. It's just I don't know. I like those in Steraria to me just seem like they'd be fun. I don't
Any of those, I would keep the decays before any of those personally. Like, dude, that decays we found that night, fucking incredible, man. That thing was so pretty. Really, really reduced pattern, really like coppery orange. Like, it's just a beautiful snake. It's pretty big for a decays too. That's a good sized animal.
Yeah,
Boy, that thing stinks so bad though. Good God. Like musks the tar out of me.
What about striped crayfish snakes? Oh, that's Florida.
Yeah, we don't get those here.
Alani. What'd you say the sex was on that gaster?
I believe it was a female. I tried based on the tail length and me trying to pop it. I'm 99% sure it was a female.
Boy,
yeah, pretty, man.
See, this range rep says we get mole kings.
We do. I mean, we get them in South Carolina.
Yeah, in South Carolina for sure, but this range map has the entire state.
There is a pinpoint on not a point, but a general area on INAT that came from between Charleston and the National Forest.
Like up there, yeah, I can get on board with the probability of that, but like here we are.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a sighting on INAT between Charleston and the National Forest, but that's the closest we have here. So we know there is they are in the low country, but they're might be the most difficult species to find down here next to like green water snakes and stuff, because we technically have green water snakes here, but very, very rare find.
But it's the same with like them saying we don't get indigos. Like, I don't think it's that out of the realm of possibilities for us to get indigos. And I've heard stories of indigos being in this little blank area right here.
I don't think they're going to get across the Savannah River area. You know, it's a swamp through there, and I just don't really see them crossing through there.
What about?
I don't know.
Simus is another one, dude. Like,
oh, Simus are here. That's without a doubt.
Sure, but
that's just going to be next to them. They're such a hard snake to find.
If I found a Simus, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, I'd shit myself. I mean, there's a chance for them in the sandhills out there. It's going to be a chance in hell, but
like, would that be one of the ones where if we spotted one, like, do we call someone? Surely there's someone somewhere in an official position that wants to know that it exists.
If we found one on a WMA, possibly. I just don't really know who you would want to tell about it. It's just one of those
There's
things.
got to be someone studying them or something that would appreciate that information.
Yeah. Do you have a Scarlet King yet?
No,
You've
Gabe.
never. I know not this year, but like at all.
Nope.
Damn.
Gabe was sending me a picture of one he found the other day. He's like, it was under bark too. And I was like, fuck you, Gabe.
I found mine under bark last year.
I remember we had some at the nature center when I was on Spring Island, and I picked one up, and it just started chewing the shit out of my hand. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? And it was a little worm too. I was like, why are you doing that to me?
I am death.
Pretty much. And it was tiny. I was like, you're trying hard, buddy.
Dude, go to the Pine Woods litter snakes, man. I just saw them on there. I fucking love those snakes, man.
I like the head structure on them.
Yeah, they look like little house snakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cool. Love those things.
That's another thing I don't understand with some of these species where they have, and I mean, just because they're not on this map doesn't mean that they don't exist there, but like how it's weird how you can have a gap like that between
and then like down
right
down there to the left and in Western Florida.
Because I'm also curious, like how many sightings do you have to have in an area like this to where they can say, okay, these two sections can be connected because there have been X amount found. Like surely one isn't enough because it could be an anomaly. It could have been one that somehow hitched a ride from a Walmart, garden center. Somehow ended up between A and B.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it is what it is. Do they have northern and southern pine snake separated on this, or they just have pine snake?
Pine snake.
Yeah.
Another one that says, like, do they get them upstate?
Yeah, northerns.
Let's see. It says there are two subspecies, the northern and the Florida.
Yeah. Jeff's got a good point. This would probably be a good question for Loafman. See if he would, have a idea of how they actually do the range maps.
We gotta go. I gotta see him, dude.
I know where to find
They
him.
say they're like, where is that? That's right.
I have a buddy who found. I've got a buddy who found one, and I think it was Merle's Inlet. Merle's Inlet or Polly's Island area.
Sullivan's Island is like one of the original populations of them from like the 40s or 50s. But this has a little spot of them in like Savannah, like not far from us, like right over the border. But
I mean, there's, like I said, there's a spot for them in South Carolina there.
Those would be fun to keep. I just don't want to. I can't do the ants, dude.
Yeah.
Seeing those in Texas was one of the highlights for me of that trip. Like that was like so many other things. That was something that I was like, yeah, they're cool. Like whatever. And then you see them in person, you get your hands on them, and I'm like, okay, these are rad.
Yeah, I would love to see those. It's one thing I never found in never found in Texas while I was out there. Yeah. I was in I think they're more like West Texas. I'm not really sure. But I certainly never found them in my neck of the woods. Mole skink. What the heck? Oh.
See, why. They recognize borders and they don't leave Georgia. There's not even a picture of it.
Yeah, there's a picture on the thing. That's weird. One thing I haven't found this year is any glass lizards.
When did they? Have we always had multiple species? Or is that new?
Yeah, no, it's always been multiple.
I thought we just had the Easterns.
No, we have Easterns.
What's this island shit?
Yeah, we Easterns and the Slenders are the most common. Um, I don't really know the difference between the islands and the Slenders, but
Like, I know for a fact we've got a lot of Easterns around me in my neighborhood because I see a ton of them every year. But I don't think I've ever seen an island.
the islands and the Slenders look very similar. I don't know.
That's another one, dude. Like, I feel like bites from these would suck.
Hell yeah.
So anytime I see them, I'm like, I'm not grabbing it. Don't bite the shit out of me. And what's a mimic glass lizard? Like, what the hell is this? Where did all this come from? I gotta catch a glimpse of this warlock.
This is Warlock. Yeah.
Control V. Thank you. Do what I say, computer. What the?
Looks the same as the other ones.
Kinda. How is it a mimic?
It's mimicking one of the other ones.
But it's still a glass lizard. I like that more than the other ones.
Hell yeah.
Boy, I bet you Billy Hunt would be all about those things. Look at those stripes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that gets Billy Hunt excited. Them racing stripes.
They all got stripes, though. Part of me wonders if that's not like a hybrid between an Eastern and a Slender, or Eastern and a
Maybe.
Island.
The Easterns are definitely the beefiest of them.
Hell yeah, those things are huge. I think they're the prettiest too.
For sure.
That green going
Yeah,
on
that
there.
bluish green. Oof.
Killer. I've really never seen people keep these in captivity. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to keep them just to like feed them and watch them hunt.
Yeah. You want to talk about a freaking animal that'll drop its tail quicker than you can say bamboozled? Good God. Those things will drop their tail. I don't even try to grab them anymore because I don't want them to drop their tail, man.
It's a weird existence. That's a mimic too. Like, what the appellation? I don't know, dude. This is new. This is news to me.
Yeah.
Like, look at that little beast.
I think it's like a monitor.
He's ready for a finger.
They're cool. Really pretty looking. So that's just an Eastern.
I just like their psychotic little eyes.
Yeah. They look like they have like little monitor heads, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely no shortage of them around me, and I think that's part of the reason why our coral snake population is so healthy, because we've got a population of these.
Well, that was the other thing me and Jack tried to do, is find a coral snake out by you. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't like cruising.
We actually went to the park across the street from you. And
you go back to that pond?
Yeah.
How's that looking? Because I've been wanting to like pop back there and look at it, but it's been a long time.
I mean, the ponds, it's not managed well, so it's overgrown and stuff. But there's a lot of like dead trees and stuff. We didn't turn up anything, but there's a lot of stuff back there to like flip through. And so we were tearing through some dead trees and stuff.
My dad's got. I'm gonna have more tin to lay out. So whenever that happens, you need to come out with me, and we can find some good spots to put some.
I was that close to calling you because I went through Marsh Hawk, and we were just kind of dry. We went down that dirt road back there by your dad's. I almost called you. I was like, "Can we go flip your dad's tent?"
You shut up.
Yeah, I almost did. Yeah, but no, it was cool.
Corn.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah, man, I'm just eager to get back out and do more herping, man. Every time I herp, and this is like a totally other subject, but every time I herp, I feel like I get closer and closer to
God.
not that, but just like not keeping nearly as much, like
Mhm.
really downsizing to just a handful of projects and big enclosures and just herping more than anything. Um, I don't know. It's always in like the back of my mind, picking a select few projects and having, 20, maybe 30 snakes and leaving it at that and just herping my ass off.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I gotta like when we were out with Jack, that's like I've noticed the handful of times that we've gone out herping, like walking and hiking and stuff. That's one of few times where I didn't feel like anxious or stressed because of work or whatever else.
Because you're not, that's how it is herping in general for me. It's like I'm not thinking about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about finding the snakes. That's all that matters. No
Like,
outside distractions. And
like when we were in those sandhills and stuff, I was like, I need to do this more.
yeah,
I need to get out more because this is nice. Like I have my phone on me, but service is usually pretty spotty. And yeah, it's just like a complete distraction from everything going on outside of that.
yeah. I feel like hiking especially takes your mind off of other things because, like road cruising, your phone's right there. Usually listen to music or something or a podcast.
Well, if
And
it's slow too, it's easy to kind of like
yeah,
drift. Like you're not really focused
yeah.
on the road as much as So
I mean,
I
on my road, you got to stay locked
oh
in
for sure, for
because
sure.
but yeah, in general, yeah, I feel like hiking because like you're so focused on every little thing around you that you're not thinking about anything else, and like it's funny herping with Jack, man. Jack's so funny, dude. You look away for a second, that bitch is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just is on a mission, especially after that coach whip, dude. He was like, I'm finding another one. It
Yeah,
was
we were all pretty fired up after that. It was like, okay, they're here. It's
yeah.
on. If there's one, there's more, right?
Yeah, and I'm really glad, even though we didn't get hands on it, and other than crossing off the lifer list, which alone is great, it really like once you find something in C2 like that, it really like now you know what you're looking for. You
Right.
got the eye, you know the area, you know where to look. Because I wasn't even thinking about looking under stuff like that. I was really expecting them to be out basking or on the move. So the fact that he found that one coiled up under the shade, I was like, okay, now we have to look under every fucking bush
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
see. You know,
I think that's like what happens is because it's the same for me with like Diamondbacks and stuff. Is like in my brain, in my mind,
they're doing something
like
else.
there's the picturesque thing of like this is what I've seen pictures of Diamondbacks doing, and so like my brain at least gets like hyper focused on looking for that, and not really like how we found that coach whip,
Right.
where I would have expected to see a coach whip like halfway out of a burrow just hanging out.
I was
But,
expecting one to see one on the move, like on the hunt, because it was midday, it was hot, but it wasn't like ridiculously hot. So I was like, they're going to be out looking for something, or basking right now
mhm.
because like it wasn't too hot for a coach whip by any means. So I really wasn't expecting one to be
If
tucked up
such a
under the
thing even
shade.
exists.
Right. So it's just kind of like, it's good seeing that stuff because it's like, okay, now I know where to look. Now I
Mhm.
know what I'm looking for here. And I don't know. It was a really, really cool experience. And it was awesome that, we all got to experience it together. And I'm glad. So like for me, Jack probably did better than I would have in that scenario. I don't know if I would have yelled for you guys. I may have just blacked out and dove for the coach whip, but Jack had the smarts to call for us and like come up with a game plan of how to actually catch this thing. And we still failed, but I'm glad he didn't just go for it and we all missed it. Like he called us over and you were busy playing with a racer while me and him were staring at at a coach whip.
Well, like I saw like I came over the hill and you were there like waving, waving, waving. And I'm like, okay, it's clearly not something we see on a regular basis. Otherwise, you wouldn't be like, come here. And we don't have walkie-talkies or anything like that. So, at first I was like, oh, they found a Diamondback. Like, it's not moving. Like, if it's staying there, like, why on earth would it be a coach whip? Because to me, it's like if you see a coach whip, you're
running.
You're seeing it on its way out. You're not. It's not sitting there. And so
you're
then
seeing it as it goes
like,
by.
I was fully expecting to not see it because, like, by the time I got around you, and granted, I went wide around you.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing when I walked up to Jack.
As soon as I walk up, this thing's gonna be gone, and I'm not gonna see it. But
it was funny when Jack called me over because it was like Jack was in front, I was kind of in the middle, and you were in the back. So Jack hollered at me, so I went running over there, and I finally heard him say "coach whip," and I was like, "No fucking way." So I did the same thing you did and went real wide. And then I got behind him. I was walking real slow and I just kind of peeked over his shoulder. I was like, where is it?
Whispered in his ear and caressed him gently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I was so jacked up finding that thing, man. And
like for it to be like a coach whip, not like a little baby one or
oh yeah.
This was
a freaking dude. I wish I could have seen it like actually stretched out, man, because you were talking about how big it was.
Inland taipan, dude.
It was fucking massive.
Seeing it moving towards me like that, I was like, oh my God. Like, and I don't even think it was at like full speed, honestly. I feel like that thing, like, it left Jack and then it was kind of like casually sort of cruising, doing its thing. And then as soon as I touched it, it like turned on the afterburners and was like, deuces.
Next time you just dive on that fucker, dude. Whole body.
I mean, I also was like, I really would love to not get lit up by a big coach whip.
Dude, fuck that. I'd let that thing bite me in the face if it meant I could grab it. No, I'd have done anything for that coach whip. Anything. Not that.
It's just an excuse to get out there again.
Absolutely. I really want to go this weekend, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
I would go Saturday, but I got to work that festival. We're setting up a table and stuff.
Yeah. I might do a solo walk Saturday morning. See if I can't.
Wonder if we got up there like right after sunrise, what it would be like, if it would be any better.
Right now, I still think it's going to be too cold. Like, coach whips are moving like when it's hot.
Not even just for coach whips, but just in general.
Yeah, in general.
You get it to that point where it's just starting to warm up and like maybe some of the gophers are starting to come out, because we didn't see any didn't see any gophers, but they were definitely there because a lot of
plenty of active birds.
Really fresh, yeah.
Especially that first place we took you.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, it wasn't longleaf, it was all loblolly pines, but man, there were active gopher burrows freaking everywhere out there, dude.
And I think that's when you're likely to see those more, is like they're not going to be out really in the heat of the day.
No,
I think when we were in Tallahassee, it seemed like it was a like mid to late morning. They were kind of out, hanging out a little bit, getting some sun, and then the heat of the day, they were down in the hole.
Yeah, I think this, like right now, early mornings, you got a good chance to see gophers. I think earlier mornings, I mean, even now, pine snakes will be moving midday. Diamondbacks will be an earlier morning thing.
I feel like, Diamondbacks, that would be the time to try and catch, like, come across some of those.
I really wish Jack and I would have been at the spot the three of us found, or that where we found the coach whip at. I really wish me and Jack would have been there earlier in the morning, but we didn't go down that far. It wasn't until we started exploring with you that we saw that spot, and we were like, oh, that's where we need to be. That was the other cool thing of, like, me and Jack saw it because we were in separate cars. Me and Jack saw it, and we're like, that's where we need to go. And then you pulled up, you're like, so we're going back to that spot, right?
That spot? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I saw that thing, just instantly got all bricked up. Right.
And we barely, like, we really didn't even walk that much of it.
It's like, very big.
We didn't.
Very large track of.
We didn't go very far. Like,
well, the next day,
cars and stuff.
So the next day, me and Jack went on the other side of the trail. As soon as you walk back there, maybe 50 yards, it gets really thick.
Really?
Like sketchy thick. So it really wasn't worth walking. And I really wasn't trying to step on a Diamondback. So,
I want to look into getting some some better boots. Like I have the ones that I usually wear, and I love those, but those are I think like one size too small. So usually by the end of the day, like my dogs are barking. Um, but I'm thinking I want to see if I can find a decent pair of like legit snake boots that go up a little higher.
I
And
can't walk around in those, man, like for any extended period of time. It's too
no,
heavy. They're uncomfortable. No.
I
The
don't know.
only
The weight doesn't really bother me that much. I don't.
I've turned into a walking or a hiking shoe kind of guy. I don't really wear boots anymore.
Mhm.
I bought some shoes specifically for hiking,
Yeah,
and
I prefer the boots.
yeah, I'm not
I
a.
want a little more between me and whatever I might be walking on.
It's not.
You probably
If
like
it's
the
not,
ones like the toe shoes that look like gloves for your foot.
I would honestly, but my
Freak
toes are too long.
be popping out the ends of them.
Nah, I can't. I'm not that flat footed. I just yeah, it's just for me. It's a comfortability, and it's getting hot, and I don't know. I've turned into a tennis shoe kind of guy. And besides, if it's not snake proof like a snake boot, it doesn't matter what you got on. If it's a decent sized animal, it's gonna
Yeah,
bite right
and I
through
mean
it.
like that's those boots that I have. Like they're the ones that the Marines get issued. And if you can find a pair of them that are in decent shape, I 1000% recommend them because they will last forever and
Oh yeah,
they're surprisingly comfortable. Uh, the material they make them out of, like it's a very hard rubber, so it's not going to deteriorate. The fabric that they make them out of is really thick. Like they're built to last. Like they can take a lot. I had one pair before we went to Texas and stuff. That was I think not long after we got Archie, and he had chewed on the laces and stuff on him and ruined them. But I took him to Texas and didn't realize that until we were in Texas because I went to go put them on. I'm like, oh, I can't tie one of these because the lace loops had been chewed off.
yeah.
So that sucked because I had those for a long time leading up to that, and the pair I have now are just a little small, a little tight. Um,
I've also started going, at least the shoes I have now, I got them specifically for they're like a quicker dry thing. They're very airy. So for one, they're not so hot on your feet, but two, I'm not afraid to take a header into the water if I have to, and I want something that'll dry out pretty quick. Because even like waterproof stuff isn't so waterproof after too long, but that stuff will take forever to dry if they do get wet, if you're stepping in puddles and stuff. So don't get me wrong, the shoes I wear, they get wet easily, but they also dry very quickly. So that's another big thing for me.
God damn,
Um,
Rocky brand snake boots are $157.
yeah, dude, snake boots ain't cheap. The ones I have at work, they're like a muck boot. They're made by Lacrosse,
Mm-hmm.
but they're snake proof, waterproof, and they come up to like your knees. Those are great. I love those boots, but they're heavy, and you can kiss my ass if you think I'm a hike around in those things.
It says they're unisex. See, that's the problem for me. Is like I wear a size 13, and it's already hard enough as is to find a 13 shoe.
Yeah, ordering shoes is not my thing because every shoe fits differently. Like I basically wear a 10.5, but in some shoes a 10 is fine, but a lot of them 11 fits better. Um, so I have found them usually 10.5 to an 11, but like Chuck Taylor's
Mm-hmm.
Converse, I'll wear a 10 in those because they're just a long shoe. But like a Vans, I'm wearing 10.5 to 11s. Hey, dudes, I'm wearing 11s. Like I gotta put on shoes, man. I don't like ordering
I'm
shit,
just gonna get some cowboy boots, dude.
dude. You would hate your life walking around
Probably.
hiking. No, man.
There's a pair on here that's $329.
Yeah, dude, boots ain't cheap.
What the fuck?
If anybody is looking for a good shoe, check out Lem's. Lem shoes makes a good hiking shoe, and that's what I've got. And I highly recommend those. The ones I have, they don't make anymore, unfortunately, but you might be able to find them somewhere else. But in general, Lems makes a really good shoe. So check those out.
Military boots for men. See, these are like reasonable, like $50, $75. Someone here that are $175 that go up past the ankle. Those still aren't the ones that are like issued. If you can find a used pair of those on Facebook Marketplace or something that are in good shape, like 1000% get them.
I couldn't walk around in those things all day.
They're surprisingly not that heavy though, too. Like I even with the original pair that I had that were steel toe, like you wouldn't really know they were steel toe. They're not that heavy. They were surprisingly light and surprisingly comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. To each their own. Everybody likes different shoes. But
Jack likes to wear high heels.
Jack will walk around in freaking like those rubber ankle boots, man. I don't know how he does that, but he swears by those things.
Yeah, and I have a pair of duck boots. I just don't.
Those
They're
are
also slightly smaller than they probably should be, so they're
those,
not comfortable.
that style of boots made for hunting, not
not walking.
Yeah,
These boots are made for walking.
I saw that one coming.
That's just what they'll do.
Yeah.
Steel toe. See, I'm on Facebook Marketplace right now, and I mean, granted, we live near the recruiting depot for the Marine Corps, so there's almost always some of these boots for sale. I don't know. Maybe I just need to start keeping them.
I'm so weird about used shoes, man.
I mean, like you see some, and you're like, "Come on, dude! Like you got those 10 years ago when you were a recruit. Like, give me a break. Yeah. They're done." But some of them are in decent enough shape. What's that? Size 12. Like, why can't they have abnormally large boots? Normal giant sizes.
Well, let's not make this podcast about.
Well, I wanted to get. I want to find some waders too, because there's been a couple spots that we've been to, and then on my parents' property, there's a spot that when it rains enough, it gets nice and sort of flooded. And if I had a pair of damn waders, I'd go right on in.
The only thing with waders you have to really be careful of is if you're in waders, they're great until they're not. If you can drown in waders if you get too deep. Like there's people around here that have fallen. Yeah, people around here duck hunt a lot and all wear waders.
So
yeah, if you go above the chest and they fill it with water, you're gonna sink like a freaking weight. And there's usually people most every year that drown because they fall out of a boat or they're walking through pluff mud and they sink. And then you gotta not panic and be able to suck yourself out of the waders. But if you ever put yourself in waders, they're not exactly easy to just slide out of. So it can be very sketchy. I'd rather just get wet, to be honest. Like
maneuverability is not the name of the game in waders.
No, not at all. I've worn waders duck hunting and they're great. Yeah, and like Jeff's saying, waders do get leaks very easily, especially if you use them a lot. I'd personally, if I'm gonna get wet, I'd rather plan for it, have a set of clothes, and then just be wet. Change, dry off, like good to go. Like waders, a lot of money. And
I'm just thinking of like smaller swampy areas where we're talking like.
I mean, yeah, and in those scenarios, yeah, they'd be great. But you could also just get muck boots.
Like I'm not trying to walk as far as I can.
Yeah.
Going up to my chest or anything like that. But
yeah. That's the thing is some of those swamps, like, yeah, you'll be knee deep 1 second, you take a step, all of a sudden you're down over your head.
It's a risk you're just going to have to take. It's part of the dance.
Yeah. I just wear muck boots or get wet.
I ain't trying to get leeches and stuff, though.
Pick them off.
Ugh.
Jack will check you for ticks.
Most people got to pay for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
There's
to
a
do
lot
some
of
shopping.
things like that. One thing I really want to try and do this year is go to some islands around here. My buddy I fish with is like, dude, just let me know if you and your buddies want to go around some islands. I'll drop you off at some that probably most definitely have diamondbacks and king snakes and
We need to do that.
shit. Yeah, I really want to do that. I want to plan for, another buddy or two to come out and
I will join that
yeah.
trip.
Yeah, we'll plan it. We just have to be careful on like what islands if you're going to private property and all that. Don't really want to get a trespassing ticket.
Yeah, I need to ask my dad about that one that he used to go hunting on a lot. Because I'm curious. I don't know exactly where it is. It's not terribly far.
There's some that are WMAs technically, so you can get out there.
I want to do Defusky still too.
Yeah, and I know like there's yellow rats on Defusky and stuff. Like we do inspections out there, and my coworker specifically does all the ones out there. And so I told him one day, I was like, if you ever see anybody around there, ask him if they ever see any snakes. And he did, and he's like, yeah, he had a chicken coop. He's like, yeah, I've got rat snakes in there all the time, stealing my eggs.
So I can fix that.
Yes, imagine like a true island, barrier island locality of rats or corns, man. That'd be
Some of the
so
corns that
sick.
they have out there, and the corns they have are nice.
Hell yeah. They've been line breeding for years.
Yeah.
But
Defuskies.
the Fuskies also just weird, man. Like it's expensive and you have to rent a golf cart to really get around. And it's a big island though. It's a big island. But I just think some of the smaller barrier islands that you could just walk around on would be dope to herp on. But we'll make it happen.
We will. John Laster said neoprene waders are the best. You won't drown.
Yeah, neoprene.
Is that like wetsuit, basically? Is that
kind of? I guess what I'm even I would just worry about, again, just like getting too deep and actually going the water filling inside of it. Because if water can, I don't know anything about neoprene. Maybe maybe water can escape those, but I don't know. Waders fill with water, you're going to be in have a bad time.
Yeah, I don't know why I never thought about people drowning in them. That makes sense though.
Yeah. I had a buddy who had a very good friend. He wasn't there when it happened, but he was duck hunting and he was going for a duck and sunk in the pluff mud and never came back up.
Damn.
Yeah. It's shitty.
Yeah, that sucks. That's a really rough way to go.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff. Pluff mud in general is like
pluff mud sucks. Waders or no waders.
Yeah, it's rough,
especially if there's an oyster bed in the mix.
Jack, good luck. You're done after that.
You haven't lived in South Carolina or on the coast until you've cut yourself on oysters by accident, because
I actually haven't.
No fun. It isn't any fun.
No.
Don't recommend it.
No, that's one thing I've managed to not do is get into a bad oyster bed. Yeah.
Well, if you're wearing shoes, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're barefoot, like most people are 99% of the time when they're on a mud bar, for whatever reason they might be on a mud bar, you're getting cut. And infection rate is pretty high with those, and it's
very high.
It's gnarly.
One of the worst cuts I think I got on the bottom of my foot was actually at a lake, and I stepped on a stick that was full of algae. And right in the middle of the bottom of my foot, man, that sucker swelled up and turned green. It was all types of disgusting, man.
You got that trench foot, boy.
Yeah, it was nasty, man.
Gross.
Yeah, that's why normally if I'm on the water now, I'm wearing my flip flops. Like, I swear by Sperry flip flops, man. Those things are put them through hell in the salt water, and they hold up.
If they can handle that, they can handle just about anything because that salt water, man, that'll wreck some shit.
Any and everything. Like
Mhm.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
well,
was there anything else?
no, I think that about sums it up. Everybody get out and herp. We're gonna should be back on schedule for flipping 10 next week.
Yep.
I think we're just doing the hosts
We need to get back up to Frank
to Frank.
Francis.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely need to go back out there. Whenever I go, I don't know yet. Whenever me and Gabe go to see Jack, I might go up and herp with Gabe Friday night, crash at his place and go to Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
It's either I don't know how it's gonna work yet because I got another trip non-herp related at the end of May, so I don't know how much time I can be away because that's gonna be a trip. But we'll see. Either way, end of the month, hopefully crossing off queen snakes and northern / midland water snakes, and hopefully black rats. Because now I have to catch a black rat for my South Carolina list, so that's great.
You're running out of species.
Yeah, I had to. Like I said, with the black rat, I had to add the black rat because they said it used to be yellows and blacks were technically the same. They changed again, and now yellows and blacks are separated. So I do have to go get a black rat in
As they
state,
should be.
as they should be. I don't disagree with it, but I think I'm down to 9 species in the state. Let me look. 9. Yes, I need eastern milks, southern hogs, mole kings, northern water snakes, green water snakes, pine snakes, queen snakes,
Corals.
corals, and black rats. So hopefully in a couple weeks, I will have at least 2 or 3 of those crossed off.
Hell
So,
yeah.
but it's also cool that I pretty much started the year with getting 2 lifers between the Diamondback and now the Coach Whip. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a hell of a year so far, and it just started. So
Yeah, it's been good.
yeah, so hopefully more to come, and hopefully more herping before next episode. I'm trying to do some road cruising next week, so
Hell yeah.
we'll
Keep
see.
me posted on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This episode, as always, brought to you by blackboxcages.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram, use code THN25. Save some money, save even more. Choose the pickup option at checkout. And instead of having to deal with UPS and FedEx and freight and shipping and all that, you can just go get it yourself and take it home and enjoy it for eons. And then Steve Snaketuary his Venom Hot Sauce. Collect the whole set. Help Steve out. He's a good dude. He's a first responder, has his day job. The whole lineup of Venom Hot Sauce, Cottonmouth Sauce, once again, is where it's at. And then Fulvius Apparel, fulviusapparel.com. Use that code THN for 15% off your order. That is the exclusive promo code for THN listeners and viewers like you. I do still have the Carhartt backpack to do for a giveaway. I just have not gotten around to figuring out what I want to do as far as the giveaway goes. And then I'm due to run a sale or something as well. So hopefully figure that out sometime within the next week or so and then make that happen and, all that good stuff. But we'll be back for Snakes and Stogies on Monday. I think the week, not this week, but last week, Phil had something going on. This week, we were coming back from the cruise, and I was like, I woke up that morning and I was like, I'm going to be home in time. We'll do it. We'll make it happen. By the time I got home, I told Phil, I was like, dude, I can't do it. I'm beat. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And we ended up punting it. So it's been a little hectic. Schedules have been weird, like I said. So
Hopefully we'll be back on track. We're going to try and do THP regularly. We're going to try and get back to every other week schedule. Flipping 10 will stay on for every other week. And things hopefully will get back to normal.
We appreciate it. Everybody have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.